Party people, how you feeling?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PapaJugg Podcast. It is a Friday night. We are doing the recording live. I forgot to put my earbuds in, and I'm sitting here staring at my computer going, why don't I hear anything? Now we know why. I hope you all are doing fantastic. We are going to do tonight's show a little bit out of order. Little bit. So we are not going to start with fast facts, because we are going to be moving into immediately the science segment. The science segment has a very cool piece of news. I hope everybody is excited, but let's jump right into that. All right, good evening. We are going to talk about science first, because science has a very cool story, and that is after 5 months of silence. 5 months of silence. We now have made contact once again. I should say it made contact with us, but we have finally regained contact with Voyager 1, traveling far beyond our solar system. It has left our solar system. It is the first object to ever do so, but Voyager 1 is back in contact. There was a problem 5 months ago. It was November. So yeah, 5 months. But it was back in November. All of a sudden, Voyager 1 was just sending gibberish. And then we just lost it. It was just like, yep, it's not responding anymore. We thought that there were power problems. We didn't know if there was a damaged component. NASA was really trying to figure out what the hell is going on with Voyager 1. And finally, it sent back enough data to where they could figure out, okay, what, let's start figuring out problems here. Let's start doing some brainstorming. And what they were doing was, it takes 22 hours to send a command to Voyager 1, or 22 and a half. That's right. 22 and a half hours to get a command to Voyager 1, and then 22 and a half hours for it to send back whatever it's going to send back. That's pretty interesting. So it's a 45-hour round trip. First of all, when I learned that, I was disappointed, not in NASA. I'm disappointed in physics, and I'm disappointed in our, so far, limitations for knowing more about physics so that we can, shorten these communication gaps. 45 hours to get data. So this is, almost light speed. We're sending data out there, and it's taking 45 hours to get back. Human travel is not going to happen in my lifetime. I'm just sad. I'm a Trek baby. I grew up with Star Trek, and I am so disappointed that I can't go anywhere. I'm born on this rock. I will die on this rock, and that is sad for me. I don't want that, but nevertheless, it is what we are stuck with. So, 45-hour round trip for the communication. They've been sending commands to Voyager 1, trying to figure out, can we talk to this thing again? If we can talk to it, can it execute the commands that we are giving? And it turns out it could. So, where did it go? I want to read. There we go. After discovering the issue, the mission team attempted sending commands to restart the spacecraft's computer system and learn more about the underlying cause of the problem. The team sent a command called a poke. I love the technical terminology. The team sent a command called a poke to Voyager 1 on March 1st to get the flight data system to run different software sequences in hopes of finding out what was causing the glitch. On March 3rd, the team... So remember, it's a 45-hour turnaround, so that's almost 2 days. On March 3rd, the team noticed that activity from one part of the flight data system stood out from the rest of the garbled data. While the signal wasn't in the format the Voyager team is used to seeing when the flight data system is functioning as expected, an engineer with NASA's Deep Space Network was able to decode it. So they sorted it out. The loss of the code on the chip. Oh, I'm sorry. The team determined that the cause of the issue, 3% of the flight data system's memory is corrupted. That sucks. This thing is supposed to fly for, obviously it's been around since the 70s. It is flying for years, but I want it to go more. I'm so optimistic about space. A single chip responsible for storing part of the system's memory, including some of the computer's software code, isn't working properly. While the cause of the chip's failure is unknown, it could be worn out or may have been hit by an energetic particle. I love that. An energetic particle from space. An ion could have killed this thing. Who knows? Anyways, After determining the code necessary for packaging the engineering data, engineers sent a radio signal to the probe commanding the code to a new location in the system's memory on April 18th. What they had to do was, so the entire memory system, the entire operating system for Voyager 1, it's too big to transfer. So it's not like they could take the whole, be like, great, we're going to move it over to a different system. We're going to fix it. We're going to send it back. They can't do that. They can't even send large chunks of it. Like they couldn't cut it in half. They had to figure out what was broken, and they did, which is really cool. They figure out what's broken. They then took that tiny little particle of the code, that little nugget. And they're like, great, put that in an empty space. Fix that, rerun it, then give the code to put that back in, and then run the whole thing again. Done. Problem solved. Voyager 1 is back up and running. I'm so happy. It's just the way it should be, right? Yeah, it's the way it should be. So that is our science segment for tonight. We are very happy that Voyager 1 is back in contact with Earth. Now, this is the interesting thing, is that they are still expecting it to continue running for at least 3 more years. They fixed this particular problem. NASA is saying that this will continue to run for years to come, and they're pretty optimistic that Voyager 1 will continue sending back data from interstellar space. Both Voyager missions, by the way, are in interstellar space, but Voyager 1 is the farthest. So, GG's. Anyways, so it works. We're happy. Yippee. Let's get over to our normal first segment, which is Fast Facts. Okay, have you heard about the Great Scrabble Freakout? I hadn't either. I love finding stories for this podcast because I get to share really weird stuff with you guys. If you haven't heard about the Great Scrabble Freakout, prepare yourself. I will make this as fast as I possibly can. First fact that I didn't know is that Scrabble is owned, sort of, by 2 different companies. So in the United States, Hasbro has the rights to Scrabble. They control Scrabble in the US. Every other country is controlled by one other company, Mattel. I didn't look into why this is the case. I'm sure it's legal and splitting and selling and, 100 years later, blah, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter. So what happened was Mattel, introduced a new version called Scrabble Together. And they did this in Europe. Now, there's a reason for this. It was designed for the changing game preferences of Generation Z. It turns out Generation Z is less inclined. Now, again, we are talking about generalizations. We are doing some stereotyping based on analytics data and psychology and sociology. I'm not saying every Gen Zer is like this. But on the whole, Gen Z tends to be less interested in competitive board games. So Mattel was like, okay, let's try something different. I'm going to explain this to you. It's intended to be more inclusive, as Mattel told the New York Times. So the new game offers a way to reduce or remove the element of competition from play, instead challenging participants to collaborate in unlocking achievements prompted by a set of randomly drawn goal cards. If you've never known Scrabble to be a card game, the reason for that is because there's never been any cards. It's not a card game. Now, the Europeans have this fluffy version. Okay, whatever. There's gold cards. For example, quote, play a word containing at least 2 different vowels. Like, what? This isn't Scrabble anymore. Oh my. Okay, the goal, according to Mattel, was to make Scrabble more accessible to those daunted by the exotic vocabularies and frontal lobe flexing the game demands from those who seek to excel in it. In other words, let me summarize that sentence. I took that from CNN.com. Let me translate that sentence for you, okay? I'm going to read it again and then I will translate it. The goal, according to Mattel, was to make Scrabble more accessible to those daunted by the exotic vocabularies and frontal lobe flexing the game demands from those who seek to excel in it. We're going to dumb the game down. The Scrabble that you know that was for intellectual growth and stimulation and challenge and puts your mind against someone else's for your knowledge of a language, we're going to make it stupid. I just can't. Okay. Millennials, we've always given millennials shit for being the trophy generation. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody's a winner. That was a millennial thing. Okay. And I will point out that what was always forgotten was that was taught to them by their Gen X and Boomer parents. Whatever. So millennials had to deal with being the trophy generation because that's what their parents did. So turns out not so much. It's not the millennials. It's Gen Z. Quote, for anyone who's ever thought word games aren't for me or felt a little intimidated by the classic game, Scrabble Together mode is an ideal option. No, it's not. It's not an ideal option. So that's the new Scrabble Together. What the hell that's supposed to be? Scrabble Together. In other words, feel like a team. So it's an open office environment. It's all team collaborative, and everybody gets a trophy at the end, even if you lose. That's great. Congratulations. Scrabble Together is now stupid. That's interesting. Huh. One of my tabs just popped up as a McAfee warning. Cool. Up next. Fast facts we are still going through. Settlement payments starting to go out to Ring camera owners. This got a lot of news coverage, but you may remember that Amazon was sued by a variety of people and the FTC, I believe, because Amazon was granting access to Ring cameras. The biggest controversy, as I recall, was law enforcement. No no warrant necessary. Cops would just call up Amazon and be like, hey, can we get footage from so-and-so's camera? And Amazon was like, sure, you're a cop. Yay. And was just handing shit over. No, that's illegal. There's a Fourth Amendment. So whatever. The FTC will begin sending more than $5.6 million in refunds to Ring customers as part of a settlement with the company Amazon that allowed employees and contractors to access the customers' private videos. The money comes from a settlement with Amazon, which owns the company and was accused of the privacy violations. The multi-million-dollar agreement comes after a 2023 complaint that Ring's employees and contractors were able to watch private videos recorded on the company's commercially available indoor cameras, and that Ring failed to implement security measures to keep hackers out of customer accounts. Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, it was real easy to get into an Amazon camera. These Rings were just like 12-year-olds could hack them. 12-year-olds did hack them. But anyways, so yeah. There are 117,044 customers who had certain types of Ring devices, including indoor cameras, and they will receive the payments through PayPal. So your refund comes from Amazon, goes to the FTC. The FTC distributes it through PayPal. I thought that was unique. Up next. Oh, yes. So TikTok. The law passed. The House of Representatives in the United States passed the law that said ByteDance had, I think they said 9 months and then whatever. Basically 270 days. Okay. That's 9 months. Yeah. So 270 days. ByteDance, which is the Chinese company that owns TikTok, they had 270 days to sell it, or you will be banned in the United States. That bill went from the U.S. House of Representatives over to the United States Senate. United States Senate passed it, sent it over to President Joe Biden's desk. Joe Biden signed it. It is now the law. ByteDance has 9 months to sell TikTok. ByteDance released a statement. Chinese tech giant ByteDance has said it has no plans to sell TikTok after a new U.S. law put it on a deadline to divest from the hugely popular video platform or have it banned in the U.S. ByteDance denied it was considering a sale. Quote, foreign media reports about ByteDance exploring the sale of TikTok are untrue, the company posted on Thursday on Tuqiao, a Chinese language platform that it owns. ByteDance does not have any plans to sell TikTok. Okay? So this is going to set up, and I mean, trust me, the lawyers are primed and ready to go. They are going to fight this on First Amendment grounds. That is going to be their strongest case, is going to be you are infringing on the First Amendment because, especially with the current Supreme Court makeup of 6 conservatives and 3 liberals, the feigned dedication to amendment support is going to, I think, help TikTok. Because this means that if this lawsuit, and there's going to be a lot of them, if the lawsuits push forward, the U.S. government is going to have to prove that they have overwhelming evidence to override a corporation, to override the First Amendment and prove not only that this is not an infringement on free speech rights of the U.S. Population, but they're also going to have to prove that TikTok is a security threat. They're going to have to come forward with their intelligence and just be like, look, here's the data we have. Here's the Chinese law. ByteDance is in China, which means all of ByteDance's data is eligible to be inspected by the Chinese Communist Party. It's not like they have the same systems of protections that we do in the United States. It's a difference. So, yeah. So anyways, ByteDance has said, nope, not selling TikTok. See you in court. Up next, this is brand news that came out today. I had to add it into the show. Elite Dangerous I skipped developers for some reason. Frontier, the company that makes Elite Dangerous. They have announced plans to start selling ships. They have learned that space nerds will pay money. You know what taught them that? Star Citizen. They had to be looking at $700 million going into Star Citizen and it's be like, why don't we sell ships? They're selling ships for $1,500. Why don't we sell ships? So they are going to be selling ships. I'll give you an example. Frontier said it will sell 3 months of early access to the Python Mark II from May 7th for 16,250, whatever the hell their in-game credits are called. I have no ARX, ARCs, I don't know. That amount is $13 US. So, by the way, you cannot buy a ship in Star Citizen for $13. You're lucky if you get it for $40. But that is the cheapest, most basic ship you can get in Star Citizen. On discount, you'll get it for $40. You can buy ground vehicles for, oh no, even that one's like $50. No, I think you can get one for 30. Anyways, so point being, Elite Dangerous is going to start selling some ships. It's going to cost some money. They're not huge amounts of money. I think I heard one report that said the most expensive one's going to be $20, something like that. But yeah, some players are now pointing to a 2019 statement from Frontier, which said ARCs can only, guys, if I'm fucking up the name of the currency, I apologize. It's ARX. I have no idea what else to say. ARCs can only be used to buy cosmetic game extras and will not be used to introduce and acquire pay-to-win purchases. Whoopsie. Time to go back and edit the blog post. Moving on. Okay. So this is going to be our last fast facts, and this is going to segue into tonight's big topic, which is going to be related, sort of. Blizzard cancels BlizzCon 2024, promises a return in future years. If you've paid attention to this podcast or the world of gaming in general for the last 2 years, you know that Microsoft recently acquired Activision Blizzard. They bought it for $60+ billion. It has been a huge acquisition for Microsoft, and it has brought some very big changes so far. Layoffs, whatever. Microsoft has had issues. Blizzard did not give a reason for the event's pause. However, they did say that a lot of the things you would find at BlizzCon are going to be done at other events in the industry. So all the game announcements and trailers and all that, basically what they said, and I could read this for you, but basically it's going to happen at other places for this year. For future years, Blizzard is saying BlizzCon will return. Now, we've seen conventions not doing great during and after the pandemic, right? We've all seen this. During and after the pandemic, conventions have been difficult. Some have had great success, some have ended. The most notable in the gaming industry, E3, all gone. It struggled. Nobody needed to go there anymore because of events like BlizzCon. If you wanted to see what Blizzard was doing, go to BlizzCon. If you wanted to see what Star Citizen was doing, go to CitizenCon. If you wanted to see what was happening on Twitch, go to TwitchCon. If you like all of these things. So E3 was like, we don't really have a purpose. Now BlizzCon gets canceled. That's an interesting one. Quote, over the next few months, we'll be sharing more details about our launches coming later this year, including World of Warcraft: The War Within and Diablo 4's first expansion, Vessel of Hatred. To celebrate these upcoming releases and to bring our communities together in new and special ways, we will soon share some exciting plans for other industry trade shows and conventions like Gamescom. Okay.
We can't wait to tell you more about these plans soon. We're also looking forward to the Overwatch Champion Series stops at both DreamHack Dallas and DreamHack Stockholm. We're thrilled to be planning multiple global in-person events to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Warcraft, which will be held in addition to the in-game celebrations across our Warcraft games throughout 2024. While these events are distinct from BlizzCon, we're harnessing all of our creativity and imagination to ensure that they carry the same spirit of celebration and togetherness. Okay, whatever. You're not announcing why, but you are saying you're going to talk to other people at other events. Great, moving on. So, conventions have been a struggle. Now, I want to move on to tonight's I Had a Thought About That. Denver. Have you heard of Readers Take Denver? I hadn't either until it exploded. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that about a convention. I'm sorry, until it collapsed. No, not even that. Sorry. Until I hadn't heard of Readers Take Denver until it was an unmitigated disaster. Okay, now we're not talking about, mass terror attacks. So, Readers Take Denver. It is hosted by, I gotta go find her name. Oh shit, where did she go? It is hosted by, yes, so it was created by New York Times bestselling author Lisa Renee Jones. And it is intended, as you might expect, it is intended for a place to be where authors and publishers and readers can all come together and celebrate the world of books. Cool. Love to see it. Good thing. This was so bad. The reports started coming out from attendees immediately. Lines of hours to get, and you got to remember, this isn't Comic-Con, folks. This is supposed to be a place for readers to come together and celebrate books. It's a peaceful thing. You're supposed to move and shuffle and be nice and calm and wonderful. No, it was bad. It was drastically understaffed. It was underprepared. It was underbudgeted. It was overbooked. Everything all the bad news started to happen at once. Authors were posting to their social media accounts saying, basically apologizing to their fans, saying, hey, we're trying. This is what's happening. We don't know, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go through a little bit of a list. So this was a list compiled by one of the authors that was there. Her name is Rebecca Yaros. I'm going to, this is paragraphs of crap on Facebook. Okay. She posted this to her Facebook page. It starts with big breath. Here we go. When I signed on to Readers Take Denver in June 2023, the publicly announced estimated attendance was 1,700 to 1,800 readers. There were more than 3,000 tickets sold. Small problem. In November of 2023, coming off the Iron Flame tour and realizing that the sales at RTD had inexplicably swelled to 3,000 readers, I informed that I knew my pace was 400 readers in 3.5 hours, signings, meet and greets, that kind of thing. I voiced my concern that there were not enough hours dedicated to signing. There wasn't. Next, I requested the interest forms for the signing and panel go live simultaneously so that readers who rolled their eyes at the rules could have a second choice deleted according to the times that they entered them. They didn't. In February, amid the concerns over denying refunds, which I'll get to that later, but yes, refunds were denied. There was a no refund policy for this event. I asked the host for additional signing time to see more readers and was given an extra hour. Not enough. In February, I was asked to sign longer after the Saturday session so I could see as many. She asked to sign longer after the Saturday session so that she could see as many readers as possible. She was denied. Under the host's instruction, the bookseller ran a pre-order in our name without authorization. Yes. So then, there was a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 items that she listed that needed to be done differently. So many people came back and said, I will not attend. I will be contacting my credit card company for a refund. People were furious. Now the cool thing is, as interestingly, over the last couple of weeks, I've been reminding you guys that I have opened a Threads account. If you want to check me out on Threads, I would love to connect with you because I'm seeing a lot more toxicity on X. It's not ruled like it used to be. It's not mitigated like it used to be. And I'm not saying it's a bad place to be, but I'm saying that the atmosphere on X has changed. And Threads seems to be a little more interesting. Threads seems to be a little fresher, slightly more positive. Yes, it's still the internet. I'm just saying it's there. This event exploded on Threads. Oh, sorry, I said the word again. It was a catastrophe on Threads. Everybody went to Threads. Comment feeds were just blowing up. It was crazy. So, what happened at Readers Take Denver? This is from a Threads user named Molly's Reading Adventure. I'm seeing so many posts, but I don't actually know what happened. The first reply, or I guess the most popular reply, I don't know. Readers Take Denver is an absolute logistical atrocity. $300 for a ticket. No tiers available for those who have no interest in a barrage of panels. No legible seating chart. The website is a data night, which, by the way, the event's Twitter feed has not been updated since last year. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. The website is a data nightmare with no sortable viewing for basic information. And because we showed up at 2:15 for a signing event that started at 2, we were told that registration for tickets were registration that were posted that were paid. Tickets that were purchased 10 months ago were unavailable and we wouldn't be able to even come into the event, to which we paid $300. Now, this was nothing I've listed to you. Nothing from attendees, nothing from authors, nothing was what caught my attention at first. The first thing I saw about Readers Take Denver was about the founder. The founder, Lisa Renee Jones. Am I screwing up her name again? No, Lisa Renee Jones. I don't know why. I suddenly thought that was wrong. Lisa Renee Jones makes the event, quote, this is a passion project for me as an author and pet owner. Weird combination of goals, but all right. With an annual goal to donate heavily to Julie's friends. Now, okay, so this whole thing is intended to be a big donor for a charity. Good. This is where the red flags start popping up. Why? Turns out Lisa Renee Jones is the founder of the charity, which means she's taking money from the Readers Take Denver event, getting paid, then giving money to her charity and potentially getting paid again. I don't know. Here's, again, what caught my attention was this part of the event. She's running this thing at $300 a ticket. 3,000 attendees plus author fees and whatever else she could collect. Who knows? Unauthorized pre-orders, whatever. So there's a lot of money flowing in. Last year, and I apologize, I don't have the exact number, but I'm going to say it is approximately $13,000 went to the charity. $13,000. Something's wrong there because that's not even most. That's not even half. That's not even a quarter of what the revenue could have been. So how... So it wasn't a huge donor to a charity, and it's a charity she owns. Red flags everywhere. This is getting worse and worse and worse. So all of this is happening, okay? This is in the last week or so. There is an article on thedirect.com, Readers Take Denver Controversy Explained. So, according to a post on Reddit, registration for the arriving guests took as long as 3 hours. There were only 4 staff members to take 3,000 registrations. They ran out of lanyards. They ran out of swag bags. They ran out of bottled water, including for the authors who had to speak. Okay. Yes. The vendor area wasn't secured. Lanyards, because they were sold out, basically weren't checked for most of the event. There is also an allegation. I don't know the factuals around this because it is kind of clouded in mystery about who might have been arrested, who called cops, whatever. But there was a report that a group of military personnel were able to infiltrate one of the after parties-ish, I guess, one of the events. And there are accusations that this group of guys went around sexually assaulting women. Not good. Volunteers were ridiculously hostile. There was even a physical altercation with a volunteer and an author.
They were yelling at readers, yelling at authors, shutting off lights if people weren't doing what they were supposed to do. The venue was the venue, I guess. I guess volunteers or organizers or somebody shutting off the lights, which is huge fire hazard. Huge. You can't put people in a dark room just because you don't like what they're doing there. That's where trampling starts. Don't do that. Yeah, there were reports that they were said to have snuck into the masquerade party. Sorry, that was it. The masquerade party on Friday night is where the alleged event of military personnel sneaking into the event. They were overbooked on writing talent. Literally, again, lines were stretching for hours because people wanted signings and meet and greets and all of that, and there was not nearly enough time to do that. Drink prices were also said to be rather expensive at various events, coming in as high as $16 a beer, $17 to $30 for cocktails. They were served by a grand total of 2 bartenders, one of whom was allegedly a trainee. No. One author, Daisy Jane, said that the mixer she attended was basically a hallway full of people. Wasn't even inside of it, it was just a hallway. Now, the charity thing is what caught my attention, and that was what I had a thought about. I'm curious for all of you. If you discover that you are going to an event, or maybe it's the reason you're going, maybe it's the reason that you're investing the money in a ticket, I don't know. But if you find out that this event that you're going to is intended to support a charity, do you expect a majority of the revenue, not profits, a majority of the revenue to go to the charity? Do you expect a majority of the profits to go to the charity? And would it bother you? This was my thought. I really had to think this one over. Would it bother me if the charity was owned by the organizers of the original event? So I'm starting to think of things like Salesforce, what do they call it? Dreamforce. Yeah, Dreamforce. I've been there. I should know. The big Salesforce event. Salesforce is a massive tech company, right? Hundreds of thousands of people. It's huge. It's bigger than TwitchCon. It's like the size of a Comic-Con. They take over San Francisco. It's crazy. It's a huge event. But it is Salesforce. Salesforce does have a charity. And Salesforce, like it's the same dude. It's all Mark Benioff, right? Would it bother me if I knew that a portion of my sale or my Dreamforce ticket was going towards one of the many Salesforce charities? No, not really. Would it bother me if I knew, and I don't know the relationship, but would it bother me if I knew that Mark Benioff was obviously, we know he would be profiting from Dreamforce because his company owns Dreamforce. So we know that's the case. Would it bother me if Mark Benioff was, let's say, the CEO of, as well as one of these charities that was getting money, and he took a paycheck from it? Would that bother me? No. And here's why. For the most part, for me, I'm going to be buying a ticket to the event for the event. I'm going there because I want to learn something or meet people or do whatever the hell the goal that I've set for that event. So I'm going to go do that. If there is a side benefit, if there is a thing that comes after that is also good, cool. I'm fine with that. Great. Love to know, good, warm and fuzzies. And if it goes to a charity that is owned by the same people who are putting on the event, I kind of don't care because I'm going for the event. If my goal, and this is kind of where I'm stuck, and I don't understand why people are so mad at Lisa Renee Jones. The event was not managed properly. I'm not talking about the event itself. The whole charity aspect of it. People are mad at Lisa Renee Jones for basically what they're accusing her is of double dipping. You're getting paid for the venue, or you're getting paid for the Reader's Take Denver event, and you're getting paid for the charity. Which, again, I don't know if that's the case. Maybe she runs the charity and doesn't take a dime from it. No idea. Doesn't matter. But if my goal was to make sure that these, wonderful pets, that these animals that she's taking care of through this charity, if my goal is to make sure that they're taken care of, I would make a donation. So the fact that she was going to take some profit money and give it to the donation anyway, all right, cool. That just makes you a good person.
I mean, quite plainly, it's that simple. You're taking money technically out of the profits of this event and giving it to a charity. Why would I be mad about that? Maybe it was only 5%. Maybe it was 1%. I don't know. But it's more than I donated because I didn't donate anything. If my goal was to make sure that the animals had blankets and food and medicine and whatever, just donate to the charity. Why are you so upset about the for-profit corporation that is giving the money to the charity? Because it's not as much as you wanted? Then don't trust the company and go give money to the charity. But you didn't do that. There seems to be this trend of taking away accountability from where it sits. Be like, well, let's point at X prop. It's like, no, you could have donated if you wanted to. If your goal was the charity, donate to the charity. If your goal was to go to a reading convention, go to the reading convention. And be mad at the reading convention for being a bad convention. Don't do it under the guise of, I wanted my money to go to a charity. Fuck off. Give money to the charity then. But no, you're doing this under the guise of virtue signaling to make it seem like you paid this $300 ticket because you wanted to take care of fuzzy animals. No, you did it because you wanted to meet an author. So if the pretense went away and you were just going to make the donation to the charity and or your choice and or go to the convention, great, make it your choice. But don't blame the convention for them not doing the money that you didn't do. Just move on with it. So that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. Next time you make an investment, next time you make a purchasing decision, remember the power of the pocketbook is yours. It is your money. You decide where it goes. And if you don't trust it, do it yourself. I hope you have a great weekend. And if you're catching this in the audio, don't forget, please drop a follow on whatever platform you're listening to. And also go back to YouTube. You can either watch the video, watch the VOD with the live chat, or you can, or please, not and, sorry, I meant and subscribe to the channel because I would love you to do that. There's going to be more podcast episodes coming up. So in the meantime, I hope you have a good morning, a good day, a good night, whatever you want. And I will see you next time, which will be on Monday for my live Twitch broadcast. See ya!